of the oldest conventions in the country, you know, and back when Detroit started doing conventions, there weren't that many at all, you know. So it really is a big, huge deal.
It's been a long ride, but it doesn't even seem like 20 years. I mean,
it's 20 years has gone by so fast. But another thing that me and Brian had over some other promoters, me and Brian are both tattoo artists, both having tattoo shops. So our whole careers is based around the industry.
Best tattoo I got right there.
Yeah, it's a real honor to have my artwork represent this year's anniversary convention. I've been tattooing at the convention for quite a few years. It's a great show. It's international. It's national. It's a really fun event.
I think it's one of my favorite shows because just all the artists that are here, the talent. It's one of the only shows I get to see all my friends at the same show and hang out. So, and all the clients here are really cool. A lot of collectors and stuff.
Motor City Tattoo Expo actually started from a friend of mine, Dave Simon, who owned Wonderland Tattoos, who had a shop just outside of Detroit. First year I attended, I actually went to the convention, dropped off some supplies for a couple of my artists, and I went down to Florida for White Week. Came back, heard the show went real well. Dave contacted me shortly after and asked if I would like to be involved in the next convention, the second annual. I said, sure. What would my involvement be? I came in as a 50-50 with Dave. With my Dave had connections with my connections, included Brian Everett, who was my friend. So anyway, so after the second annual, Dave had other things going on, and me and Dave talked, and I had an opportunity to buy Dave out. I got a hold of my partner Brian, who was my friend, and Brian, being more of a West Coast guy, Brian's associates were perfect examples. Jack Rudy, Lyle Tullo, Brian had known these people for a lot of years. I knew who they were, but my contact was through Brian. I thought, what a great opportunity to make Brian a partner. The third year, Brian came on board, and since then, between myself and Brian and now Gina doing the contacts, we've turned this into one of the top 3 conventions in the United States. It's also an invite only, and it goes back to me getting hold of Brian and us, our guys, you know, we set for standards, best of the best.
I think one of the things that we wanted to make this show, we wanted it to be a premier show. We didn't want to be just like any of the other shows that were out there. We wanted this show to stand out, to really be where if you were in this show, you had reached a pivotal point of your career, to where once you were here, you kind of made it. And a lot of that has to do with the philosophy we had from the start, but Tramp has always gone through and scrutinized people's portfolios. I teased him in an article one time like he was the Ed McMahon of tattooing, you know what I mean? Because he would take people that were relatively unknown, and we didn't care about name recognition. We wanted quality artists, the guys that were on the cutting edge. And Tramp was able to recognize those guys that were, you know, they had reached a kind of a peak perfection of their art, and as soon as they'd come to Detroit, the news, the media and stuff would seek them out, and the magazines would end up doing interviews on them, and they'd get a reputation. Really, a lot of them kind of started right here in Detroit, so it became kind of a stepping stone for some of them that, you know, to get where they are.
You get to know everybody, you look forward to seeing everybody at all the shows that you go to. Also, not just ours, you know, outside of here. It's like a reunion every time you get together. And like Brian said, when it's over, it's sad because you know you're going to go your own ways for a little while, but love it. It's great.
Also, artists, please make sure you take your photos.
I will.
I don't kill them all myself. Mousetrap, 30 out 6.
It happens when you see thinking that it's oral assessment.